Hey everybody, welcome back to the roof. Today I'm going to install another Easy Start. Back a couple years ago when we got this trailer, I put one Easy Start on, but I put it on that rear air conditioner back there because that's the only one that I plan to use on batteries. So we have the 3000 watt inverter and a 270 game changer Battleborn battery, and I can run microwave all the things on the battery. But I did not put a Easy Start up on this front AC because I really didn't plan to ever use it on that power. And I did a video install of me installing the Easy Start, but I didn't go step by step on how to wire it up and do all the things. Just a month or so ago, AirGear started selling the Easy Start. So I purchased another one, and now I'm going to go with you step by step on how to install this device on a Dometic Penguin II air conditioner. And I'll show you the wiring diagram and all the things. It's a pretty simple process to do, and if you want to follow along, you can do that. You have someone install it for you, or you can put them on yourself. They're pretty easy to install. It's a little bit of work, but not much. The hardest part to me is getting up on the roof and getting all the things apart. But that's not a big deal. Anyway, join me if you'd like to see how this is done. Now, if you have the 2024 or newer models, you have the GE or the Coleman air condition, wiring them up is a little bit different, so you'd have to refer to the instruction manuals on how to do that. But there's a QR code you can scan on here, and it brings the instructions up right on your computer screen there, and you can read what's required per manual. So I'm going to get the air condition taken apart and the access to all the electrical stuff opened up, and then we'll go from there. All right, just to show a couple things in here. So this capacitor here, I've removed it. There's a little clamp that you can maybe see right there that holds it against this wall. But the reason I remove it is because I got to drill a hole in here to run the wires through after they come across to run them into this box. So I'll drill a hole down here and run the wires through there. And then over on this side, right down there is where I'm going to install the device. All right, so in the box, if you get the install kit, you get this set of stuff here. And here's what the Easy Start box looks like. Simple as that. The box goes right over here on the side, and the wiring route's over there. So deciding where to mount it is easy. I know where that's going to go. It's going to go over here, and then I have some double-sided tape that I'll stick it to the side with. And then routing the wiring is also something you got to figure out and worry about. Now, as far as routing the wires, there's a couple ways you can do it. The instruction manual goes over a specific way to do it. You can't, so there's a foam felt thing over here that the cover sits and squishes down on, and that's if you don't, you can't break that, and you can't run it over top of this styrofoam here. You got to run it through some stuff. So I'm going to show you the way I route it. That's the way I prefer to route it, but there's a couple ways you could route it using some existing holes and things like that, but I'm going to route it the way I like to route it. So, all right, on my last one, I put the vertical right here because it was a much bigger box. And that one I had to cut a hole up here and route the wires in, but this one is small enough profile where I can bring it down here pretty small, and it'll be out of the way of everything, and I can route it through this existing hole right here, and it comes through with these same wires. Over here, I'll zip tie these together and run it over here. But I still have to drill a hole in that part right there. So I've got my step bit, and I'm going to do that right now. Blair, I need a battery. Thank you. Here I'm installing the plastic bushing so the wires can easily slip through without getting cut. Push the wires through the hole. And And there's that. Okay. All right, now that the hole is drilled, I should say, I'm going to start connecting the wires. All right, step number one, wiring. Follow the brown wire. This is what we're going to do with this wire right here. So I have to follow the white wire from the compressor into the electrical box. So if you go over here to your compressor, there's a white wire that runs in and runs across the top of the fan and back in through here, and it comes out this section right here. So I have to follow the white wire coming out of this top bundle, the big white wire. The other one goes to the fan. If you cut this zip tie right here and take these wires apart, it's a little bit easier to see. All right, the compressor over here, you got to follow the white wire coming off the compressor. It runs up into here. It's this big white wire here. Follow it over and it comes through this. So I'm going to snip this zip tie so I can see these wires better and show you what it is. So the big wire coming off the capacitor is that one right there. So pull that off. Disconnect the white wire and cut off the connector on the end. Strip about a 1/2 inch of insulation, and from the brown wire Easy Start, connect them both together. So I'm going to cut this off. Strip off some of the wire. My brown and my white. So this kit comes with connectors, and I like the Wagos the best of all, so I'm going to connect this in here with a Wago and this in here with a Wago. White wire. Place the yellow female quick connect terminal over the white wire, which is already done. Connect the white wire to the run capacitor on the same terminal group where the other white wires were on terminal C. So I connect this white wire now to where that one just came from. Orange wire. Place a blue female quick disconnect, which is done. On the orange wire, connect the orange wire to the red wire terminal group on the run capacitor, shown by figure 33. So there are two configurations connecting a black wire. The first has a control board mounted inside, and the blue wire simply passes through the electrical box in the second configuration. If the control board is in the box, which is here, install a one of these blue angles on the wire. Install it on the wire, disconnect the blue wire from the relay, and plug in the blue angled quick disconnect. Cut the connector off the blue wire and splice together the blue black wire from the Easy Start and a black wire using the end splice. Okay. So there's a black wire here. The black wire is really there to give you extra space because the blue wire is a little bit short, but I'm going to do what I did on my previous air condition install of the Easy Start. So my other air condition, I just cut the wire. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to cut this and put a 3 Wago. Now this does not come with the installation kit. So this is a 3-prong Wago. So I'm going to connect the 3 wires together right there because it essentially does the same thing. All right, got that connected. Now the last step, it says some systems may use a start capacitor, and that's down here. So I'm not going to remove it like it says, I'm just going to disconnect it. This is pretty hard to see here, but off the bottom of this thing is a red wire, and it connects over here to this other one. If you can see, it's kind of so hard to see, but down in there. And I'm going to disconnect that wire and just leave it hanging. So I'm not going to take that out like the manual says, just because if I ever want to take this thing off and transfer it, I can do that. But, all right. Now it's time to fire this bad boy up and make sure it works. So I want to put these components back in here the best I can. Make sure they're not touching anything or exposing any circuit boards or none of that. I'll zip tie all this together in a bit. So I'm going to put some zip ties in here to hold all this together. I hope you can see because I can't see my camera. And this keeps any debris from going down in the fan right there. So this is the fan motor and that's the fan. One thing you need to do periodically after you install this thing is come back up here and make sure that it's still attached to the wall. Because my last one had the air conditioning cover off, inspecting everything, and noticed that it was the double-sided tape had no longer double-sided. All right, I got everything hooked back up here. I'm going to put the cover back on and go downstairs and fire it up and see what happens. All right, the next part is to let your air conditioner learn, let them easy start, learn the process. I'm going to turn my air conditioner on here. So I need to go to zone 1, which is the closest one to me. I'm going to turn it on cool, make sure zone 2 is off. So I'm turning this to cool, and I'm going to use the thermometer to go down to 70 and let the air conditioner crank up. It'll take 5 times of doing this for it to learn the cycle, and then you can use it normally at any time. The fan just came on. Compressor just came on. So now what I'm going to do is run the temperature up to get it to shut the compressor off. So the compressor just came off. You can see the number go from blue to white. I'm going to run it back down. I'm watching my screen here to see when the AC load kicks on, see what it is. Currently pulling 448 watts, just running the fan and whatever else is running in here on AC power. Compressor just came on. So that went up to 1300, 1400, 1500. So you're saying it took a while for that to come on, probably 60 seconds or so. That was round number 2. So steady running is 1587 AC load. So I'm going to turn the temperature back up to get it to shut the compressor off. So 1600 watts, that dropped off. Back down to 450. Let's see how long it takes this time. Must be thinking real hard. 2 minutes and 20 seconds so far. Okay. 2:45 is what it took. That was number 3. Took 2 minutes and 45 seconds for the compressor to kick on. Still learning. And we're pulling 1580 watts. Let's go for number 4. All right, took about 3 minutes that time. So 2:45 to 3 minutes each time is what it's taken. Go through one more time. All right, both ACs running and both compressors are on. Both soft starts are working, so call that a success. It just takes a little time, and I forgot how long it takes to do that, but 2:45 to 3 minutes every time you cycle the start to happen. It takes that long for it to power up. And even with the one that's been on there for a while, it's the same process for getting that compressor going. So happy with it. Works good. Why would you want to do a soft start? If you're planning on installing the Generac generator at Ronnie's or somewhere like that, you might need a soft start. If you are planning on using your own generator, whether you have the small inverter generator or you have some big generator, you may want to install a soft start. It helps use those things much easier because there's much less of a spike of a load on them. Concerning size of generator you want to have, with the soft starts, you get 15, maybe up to 1600 watts getting pulled at any given time. So if you get the 2200 Honda inverter generator, which is about $1,000. If you go to Harbor Freight, you can get the 2000 watt Predator generator. I think they're like $600. They also have a 1400 watt Predator generator for a little over $400, I think it is. But that wouldn't be enough to run your one AC. What I'm getting at is you need a generator that can handle up to like a 3,500 watt load to start both of your ACs at one time. So if you get the 2,200 watt generator, you could potentially run one AC and a microwave at the same time, depending on your compressor cycle. But that's a possibility. So many people are going with the Generac onboard generator, like Marketeers did on KYD, and Ronnie Dennis does it quite a bit. Aircrafters actually sells the mount for that, and the mount, because you got to move your spare tire to the back. But it's a very expensive option to get that onboard generator put on the Airstream. So the price tag is the reason I haven't done it yet. I do like it, but I've also never had a generator before. I wanted to put this additional soft start on because there are certain locations we have been that I've wanted to run the air conditioner on battery, and because the sun was beaming into the front and I had plenty of shade at the back, or the sun was beaming into the back and I had plenty of shade at the front, it would have been nice to put either air conditioner on and not just one. And with these new aircraft vents, so I can securely close them all off, I can really genuinely cool one end of the trailer off compared to the other. So that's why I mainly wanted to go back and put an additional soft start on that front AC, which I didn't initially do. If you're going to get a generator, just make sure you got enough to cover the one AC. Just go back and look at the literature of the ACs you have. So if you have the Coleman or the GE or the these Dometic ones, what is their peak amperage draw is kind of what you need to know. And I show you on what I have based on having soft starts installed. And I think I have a video, I'm going to see if I can still find it, about what that front AC pulled, the smaller of the two, pulled without a soft start on it. I made it on a video some time ago, but I'll see if I can find that right now. So depending on what you're going to buy, if you want to carry a generator with you just to have just in case, I think it's a neat option. If you're going to install the big generator on the bottom of the rig and have it permanently carrying around with you and run on propane, that's awesome too. I don't have a generator. I have never owned a generator for my RVs. I've used them before, but it's not something that I want to carry around with me because it's not something that we have traditionally needed. It'd be nice to have on occasion. There have been a number of boondocking spots where we'd love to have it, but we, because of our current battery and inverter situation, we tend to run out of water long before we run out of battery. So it's not something that I've typically needed, but it is a thing nice to have. Hope you enjoy. If you want to put a soft start on, it's a fairly simple job. If you're not comfortable doing it, please consult your local Airstream dealership or an RV technician to install it for you. And one more thing, if you're running your air conditions in the hot, humid summertime, my recommendation to you is run it in fan manual high all the time. This way your compressor can cycle on and off and your fan will just run. So you deal with the noise. They're not that loud, particularly if you have the stream, quiet stream, it's called, the ductwork. It's fairly quiet. It's quiet enough to not be blasted in here. If you have the base camp or you have a Bambi or something like that, or you have an older Airstream before they put the ductwork in, those things are allowed. I know that. If you're in hot environments or hot and humid environments, the easiest way for your air conditioner to keep your rig cool is to have it on manual high fan, and then your compressor will turn it off based on temperature. But it's much easier for your air conditioners to keep it cool. So in summer times, just manual high. That's my recommendation. That's all for now, everybody. Thank you and have an awesome day.